On today's Smart 7, it's a battle of the taxes for Keir and Rishi, TikTok CEOs in the hot seat and lots more. It's Friday the 24th of March, it's National Chocolate Raisin Day, and happy birthday Mary Berry.
The Smart 7. It's news, but not the news.
As Boris's Partygate hearing got underway on Wednesday, Prime Minister Rishi Sunak picked an opportune moment to release his tax returns. He's been promising to publish them since last year's leadership campaign after it emerged his wife had avoided paying almost £20 million in taxes by claiming non-domicile status while he was Chancellor.
Well, I published my tax returns because I said I would in the interest of transparency, and I'm glad to have done that. Now, I think ultimately what people are interested in is what I'm going to do for them.
The return shows he's paid over £1 million in taxes over the last 3 years on an income of almost £5 million, working out at an effective tax rate of around 22%. Dan Nadel is the founder of Tax Policy Associates and explains why Rishi's tax rate appears so low.
And it's not because he's done anything very clever or because he's avoiding tax. It's because in this country, we tax employment income at up to 47%, but capital gains on investments at only 20%. Whether the law should be like that is a very, very good question.
On Thursday, Labour leader Sir Keir Starmer decided to jump on the bandwagon by releasing his own tax returns. Turns out he's paid around £67,000 in taxes on a measly £210,000 income over the past year. That's a rate of about 32%, by the way.
I'm glad the Prime Minister has published his tax returns, but I do think there's a wider point about choices here. The choices they make on tax and the tax system are obvious. They always go after working people.
There was bad news for superfan Matt Hancock on Thursday as it was announced that the Chinese-owned social media app TikTok will now be banned on all UK parliamentary devices and networks. And there's speculation the app could be banned altogether in the US if its Chinese owners don't sell their stakes. On Thursday, TikTok CEO Xu Zhikru was questioned by the US House Energy and Commerce Committee over data security concerns. He's laid out a series of commitments to US users.
We will keep safety as a top priority for us. We will firewall protected US data from unwanted foreign access. TikTok will remain a place for free expression, and we will give access to third-party independent monitors.
But committee chair Cathy McNorris-Rogers was not convinced.
Your platform should be banned. I expect today you'll say anything to avoid this outcome.
US Secretary of State Antony Blinken's been testifying on Capitol Hill about his country's foreign policy priorities following Chinese President Xi's visit to Moscow earlier this week. He says Beijing will be closely monitoring how the world responds to Russia's aggression in Ukraine and that they could have the ability to invade Taiwan by 2027. Questioning Blinken, US Senator Lindsey Graham says it's time to take a tougher stance against Russia.
I think now is the time, Mr. Secretary, to label Russia state-sponsored terrorism, because they are. Up the ante if China wants to continue to help Russia.
Meanwhile, Ukrainian President Zelensky paid a visit to Kherson on Thursday, a region which has been heavily targeted by Russian attacks. He says he's hopeful the area will be restored.
I think we will be rebuilding everything here very quickly. Our first task is the electricity, and I've been told that drinking water is being provided several times a week. And this is the most important thing. There will be victory. We know, we're sure there will be.
With the new SNP leader set to be announced next week, Nicola Sturgeon delivered her final speech as Scottish First Minister in Holyrood on Thursday. She's been leading the Scottish Parliament since the country's 2014 independence referendum and has seen off 5 UK Prime Ministers in that time. In her closing remarks, she spoke with pride about the progressive policies her government's introduced, including access to free period products and extra child benefit payments for low-income families, and said she hopes her legacy will be a positive one.
No girl in our country now has any doubt that a woman can hold the highest office in the land. When women lift, girls rise. I've tried as First Minister to put that into practice, and I will continue to do so for the rest of my life.
Still to come on the Smart 7, Harry Kane breaks some records and a Canadian town has a pronunciation problem. Right after this. Welcome back. 3,
The Euro 2024 qualifiers are officially underway, with England playing in Italy and managing to break a whole host of records in one evening. They won 2-1 despite a late red card for Luke Shaw. That was the first England win in Italy since 1961. It also broke Italy's unbeaten home record in the European Championships, which stretched back to 1999. Oh, and captain Harry Kane managed to become the all-time England top scorer, beating Wayne Rooney's record as a penalty took him to 54 goals for England. He was delighted at that and pleased to see England bounce back from the World Cup disappointment.
Getting back to it, we feel like we're one of the best teams in Europe and we have to just keep knocking on the door. We're getting close, but coming here and putting a performance like that today just shows we're ready for the next challenge. And we've got a difficult campaign ahead, but hopefully we can get ready for next year.
If you were around in the 80s or 90s, chances are you'll have spent a good few hours shuffling blocks around in the highly addictive game of Tetris. But have you ever wondered how the game came to be? Well, now's your chance to find out, because there's a new biopic coming out all about the game's development in Russia and the subsequent legal battle to secure intellectual property rights to the game. Starring Taron Egerton as Hank Rogers, the man who discovered Tetris, it'll be released on Apple TV Plus at the end of the month, and the trailer's just dropped.
Gentlemen, if you want to sell a couple 100,000 Game Boys to little kids, package them with Mario. But if you want to sell millions to absolutely everyone around the world, package them with Tetris. Tetris. It's the perfect game.
Now time for our favourite story of the week. A Canadian tourism board's gotten into trouble over how it's been marketing its province. Experience Regina, a tourism organisation for the city of Regina, in Saskatchewan, rebranded last week, but it might have taken things a little too far with some of its slogans, which prompted the mayor of Regina, to issue an apology on Thursday. Here's Fox 5 News anchor Jim Lokey explaining what happened.
The group called Experience Regina rolled out a new campaign to try to boost tourism in the city. Show us your Regina, which obviously is meant to encourage people to share all the fun things they do in Regina. Speaking of fun, some t-shirts related to the effort read, Regina, the city that rhymes with fun.
You've been listening to The Smart 7. We'll be back tomorrow at 7 a.m. Hit that follow button and have a great day. Give us 7 minutes, we'll give you the world.